During the most recent Nintendo Direct, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom was just announced, the biggest mainline playable Zelda game, something I've been asking for years. So we're gonna break down specifically the massive gameplay possibilities, mostly because I'm not the lore guy, and we already know that Aonuma has kind of just thrown the Zelda timeline out the window. So let's take a quick look. If there's two things that the Zelda series is starting to bank on these days, is multiplicative gameplay and more open worlds. Starting with the multiplicative gameplay, since multiple objects or minions can be summoned, there are also many opportunities to combine objects together, which they didn't show much here because they often used only one item multiple times in a row. One thing to note, I looked for some sort of magic meter on using these items, but the answer is pretty simple. The limit is simply 3 or 4, depending on the triangle count on your partner try. But this is likely to be upgraded to get more triangles later in the game to have more possible echo summons, something along the lines of Journey's scarf upgrading mechanic. I mean, the partial heart container system is shown in the key art, so upgrading your own power level is an obvious return. But with the Tri-Rod, there's also different costs to different things, like this Boko Baba, who has a 2 triangle cost, or the Redead having a large 3 triangle cost, which I can see is worth it since it has a massive AoE stunning attack. Let's think about it this way though. If you can sleep in a bed while it's stacked, just wonder what other items do while stacked or used with other items on top of each other as well. Food for thought, maybe with the water block, something like summoning or pushing something wooden into it could lift it up through the block since they float. Put the bomb shooting Octorok on a spinner to make it a pseudo tank. Or use the bird not only to fly, but to carry a minion to an enemy. Tears of the Kingdom did that as well. Or because there's a place or throw mechanic, and because the trampoline makes you jump higher, maybe tossing something onto it will bounce off of it and go farther. This is all purely speculation, but that's the kind of gameplay that could happen with this kind of multiplicative gameplay format. The opportunity to mix and match things while keeping the controls and HUD fairly simple is what makes this an interesting premise. Unlike Link's Awakening's more old-school linear approach, it's clear that with this shot here, since that this is a brand new game, is that they really wanted to push the idea of going anywhere and doing anything, only gated by your smarts and abilities that you have, teasing you with islands surrounded by water which you'll likely drown trying to get to with a small stamina bar, or breakable rock formations, which I'm sure there are dozens of echo possibilities that could destroy that wall. These purple tears of malice, fabrics of reality, or whatever they're called, are likely mini dungeons as well from this shot here, with underwater trees and floating boats. It's possible that this is even the new shrine format, with small puzzles to complete to get small power-ups. A couple notes is that Link drops his Hylian hood before sinking into the abyss, which on the way out, Zelda seems to have picked up for herself. This could mean that there's more clothing in the game, with possible higher defense boosts or maybe even additional effects that we've had before. I can imagine Zelda's drip will probably be on point. One of my biggest gripes still with Tears of the Kingdom was the quick menu, and it looks like a copy pasta of that same system. Aonuma saying,
"There are a lot of echoes in this game. To be honest, I haven't counted them all yet."
Makes the scrolling through more echoes even more daunting, but I could be proven wrong. And lastly, they could be even hiding a chemistry engine behind all of this. We have blocks of water, electric Bari type enemies that you could likely echo, and fire choo-choos that burn grass. We'll likely see a simple version of Breath of the Wild's and Tears of the Kingdom's chemistry engine, with dousing fires with water blocks, possibly making electric currents with shock effects in water, maybe even putting a wind machine on a floating wooden bed to make a boat. With The Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom just 3 months away, we'll have our answer soon. But there's always room to speculate on what could happen in the newest game in the lineup. Remember, for everything Zelda, keep it here on GameSpot.